Other meal deals leave you craving more.
But wait, there's Marco's.
Marco's Pizza gives you more with our new More menu. More pizza, savory sides, decadent desserts, and more. Starting at just $5 each when you spend $7.99 or more. Try Marco's More menu.
But wait, new breadsticks.
Oh, yeah. Try Marco's More menu.
But wait, new 6-piece wings.
Try Marco's.
But wait, new chocolate Cinnasquares.
We're gonna need more airtime. Minimum spend required. Use code More menu with $7.99 minimum spend or code Get More with $8.99 minimum spend. Tiered prices higher at certain locations. Valid on the More menu only. Restrictions apply.
This is an Extra 106.3 podcast. To hear more live and local content like this, tune into 106.3 FM or download the Extra 106.3 app. Extra 106.3 and a Second Chance Bail Bonds are here to back your blue. Back Your Blue highlights special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Join a Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Matalon and host Tug Coward to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Now it's time to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
Welcome to Back Your Blue. Along with Daniel Matalon, the CEO of a Second Chance Bail Bonds and a Second Chance Monitoring, my name is Tug Cowart from Extra 106.3, and today you have the pleasure of being introduced to Shay Alexander, the clerk of the Superior and Magistrate Courts in Atlanta. She's described by her friends and colleagues as energetic, which I will second, an innovative leader, which I bet I will learn, and a candid personality that is just a straight shooter. A native of Atlanta, she is a Georgia peach and a Grady baby too. Daniel Matalon, tell me who this really is, because I feel like this all sounds good. Tell me what she really does.
Well, if you know, then you know, but she's the heartbeat of Fulton County.
Okay. What does that mean, the heartbeat of Fulton County?
Well, look, I mean, there's nobody that knows the system better than she does. I think she's worked in so many facets of it that it's the results speak for themselves.
Tell me about the clerk of the Superior Magistrate Courts. What do you do?
I know nobody knows the clerk. Nobody knows what the clerk does. I am, like Daniel said, the heartbeat of the justice system. I'll say it like this: everybody knows what the DA does. She prosecutes cases. Everybody knows what the sheriff does because he manages the arrests. Right? The judges rule on all of the cases, but guess what? They all work with us. I'm the heartbeat. Nothing happens in the judicial system without our office. If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, just say all the information. You're like the
beginning and the end.
You're like the brain of the system.
It's
like all the information comes in
and it's processed and it's not out. Daniel cannot get anybody out of jail with a bond order until we process it.
Only on Tuesdays.
And that's the only day it happens?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It can happen at midnight, whatever happens.
You can't hit me with inside jokes and expect me to know, because I don't know.
Yeah, and so it's real important that people understand when we say heartbeat, we're talking about we deal with people's lives, right? Everything we touch impacts somebody's life. And so as the public servant that deals with the paperwork, is not just the paperwork, it's the people that we deal with every day.
And you started, you've been doing this for a long time in the public sector, but you've gone from MARTA and the Georgia Secretary of State's office and there to Fulton County. Dedicated your life to helping others. 2008, became part of the Fulton County Clerk of the Superior Court leadership team and Chief Deputy Clerk. Later promoted to Director of Court Services in 2010. Appointed to the Chief of the Courts Bureau for the largest county in the state of Georgia. Led one of the largest and most complex, fast-paced judicial support teams in the Southeast for the Atlanta Judicial District. That sounds like a lot. I gotta tell you, my career trajectory has not been that hadn't taken so many turns. I was in the Navy, and I was in communications, and I've been in communications the rest of my life. It's the only thing I've ever done. I feel like you've done everything.
Well, no, I wouldn't say everything, but what I would say...
This paper says everything.
I hear you, but when you talk about the type of work I've done, it's always intertwined with public service, right? Even MARTA is quasi-government. It's not all the way. The Secretary of State is government, right? And so I knew early on... I went back and forth. Oh, I need to make money. Oh, I want to be a public servant. Oh, I need to make money. And so at the end of the day, when I realized my purpose, I knew that I was a public servant. So most of those things are tied into public service.
So when it comes to the clerk of the court, you say the brain, I don't think many people outside of, the people that work in the court system, Daniel, understand that. And they don't understand how everything lays together. They don't understand how the tentacles work. They don't understand how you are connected to Che or vice versa. I don't think anybody understands that. It's very complex. And look, y'all could probably explain it to me, and I'm not sure I'd understand it anyway.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this. If you have a bad clerk, you'll know about it. And I'm not going to mention any names, but there are counties,
Are you sure you don't want to?
He doesn't.
I am 1,000% positive.
I'm joking.
But I can tell
really.
you this. It's if you look at where we were when she came in, when Che was elected, or when Che came in and then was elected again, look at what she's done, right? So that's you don't get that everywhere, right? So that's part of the success that she's set forth in Fulton County.
Why though? Because if every county's got a clerk of the court, why is it that you've been so successful where those other people that Daniel were talking about haven't been?
Well, there's 159 clerks in the state.
See, there you go.
You didn't know that.
No, 159 counties, right?
159
Yeah, so
counties.
that makes sense to me.
159 Superior Court clerks.
Sure.
Some clerks serve as the clerk for more than one court. I'll say my success, or born and raised in Fulton County, so one is home
it's
for
home.
me.
You always
right?
work harder for home.
Right, so it's home for me. And the other thing is I grew up in the system. Started from the bottom, now I'm here. That's the real story.
I feel like a song. Somebody needs to write it.
It is. It's the song. And so starting from the bottom means I worked most of the areas. Like I can go to my staff and it's a whole different level of respect because they understand that they can come to me with an issue. We work through it. And so all of that plays a part. When you're an elected official, some folks come in office with not that experience. And in this job, experience really, really matters. And so I think that's where the success comes from on the Fulton side.
That reminds me a little bit, having come from the United States Navy. Before I was in broadcast, I was in the Navy. And I remember the guys that I listened to the most were the ones that had been there, the ones that had done it, just like you're describing, right? We called them butter bars. In the Navy, it was the ensigns. They were an 01. That was their first job out of officer candidate school or out of the academy. And they love to tell you what they know, but they didn't always know everything. Yet they would be like a chief warrant officer or a guy that had been an enlisted chief that had converted to an officer. And so maybe he had the same rank as that kid that just came out of the academy. Boy, his experience was very different than the kid that just came out of the academy. So it sounds like what you're setting up is exactly what I experienced in the military. Those guys that I knew had been there and done it, those are the first guys I was listening to. Those are the first people I was listening to, not the kid that just came out.
And it really matters. I mean, we're managing a different skill set these days. I mean, everybody works from home. Everybody wants to do what they want to do. They want it fast. They want a promotion after working 2 days. They know everything. I mean, it's really that way.
Yeah.
And so it's important to me that I, take care of my staff. Like, I may go in and do what I need to do with them, but you can't. You cannot talk about them. You cannot do anything to them. You cannot disrespect them. I completely have their backs, right? And I understand what it's about. And so my recruitment method is about the people. Community. Community is really important. And so you didn't know what I did until today. You'll know from now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We're out in the community. We're going to senior facilities. We're doing the untraditional things that clerks haven't done in the past, right? And so we're at the community facilities. We're at events. We have our booths explaining the services that we provide.
That was the question I was about to ask you. Why are you in the community so much? Now it makes sense.
Right, and because if we are about the people and everything we touch is somebody's life, right, we need to understand what their pain points are, and they need to understand what services we provide. So I'll just tell you this. We touch, on the magistrate court side, small claims. Somebody owes you $500. You want to sue them to get your money back, right? So that's a small claims case. Evictions, the dispossessories on both sides. You're the landlord trying to put somebody out. you're about to be evicted, right? So that happens. Garnishments, abandoned motor vehicles on the magistrate court side. I deal with divorces. On the felony side, the bad things.
Yeah,
the
tough
murders,
stuff.
the rapes, the child molestations. And so it's everything. And when people come to our office, they don't have a choice. If your stuff happens in Fulton, it's Fulton. You can't get mad at me and be like, I'm going to go to Kroger today, Publix.
I'm done.
I'm just going to go to Kroger. I'm never
Yes,
going to
sir.
do Publix again
Yes, sir.
because you mistreated me.
You messed up my pub sub.
Right. So now when you come, and so it's important that no matter what, if you're just getting out of jail or if you're about to be evicted, we treat you with dignity and respect. It is just a fundamental thing of working in my office.
And I think that's all anybody expects in life. Just give me the respect as a human being. That's all I need.
That's what we need, but do we get it in
No,
most
most of the time,
places?
most of the time not. But that's why it's so important. I feel like with what you're saying, because I think that's what most people.
That's what we want. You treat people the way you want to be treated, right?
Exactly. That's the golden rule,
so that's what we say. We are getting away from that just in life, but it's important. It's important that the people that work in the office understand that, and that we do a good job for the people. That's just it, right? That's all I want to do.
Daniel, how does that affect the links that they go through and go to reach out to communities, to let people know what's available, to let people know
I think it's great, especially in what she does, because, look, at the end of the day, these people, with the clerk's office, you're waiting on court dates and things of that nature, at least on my side of stuff, right, from on the bonding side. And that's where they do a phenomenal job in that space. And I mean, so we deal with them on the front end sometimes. If someone's in there with no bond and they're getting a bond set, then the order goes, and then she's the last step before we actually post the bond on the front end of stuff. Then you have the ongoing court dates that are happening, throughout the year.
So a tough process ends with a smiling face. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, when they're efficient, when they're efficient, which Shay's office is efficient, and they do a phenomenal job, then we can get our job done quicker. Does that make sense?
Service your clients.
Service the
Absolutely.
clients. So it all touches. It all goes together. If they're running smooth, we're running smooth. If they're having a hiccup, we're having a hiccup, because then the whole process gets slowed down. So
You're listening to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3 with Daniel Madelon of a Second Chance Bail Bonds and Clerk of the Court, Jay Alexander, Clerk of the Superior Court and Magistrate Court here in Fulton County. When we continue, I want to talk about coaching those expectations, because you brought up people that want to, raise day two, they want to work from home every day. Let's talk about managing those expectations, how you do that, and why it's beneficial for the folks that work for you. It's just setting those expectations. When we come back on Extra 106.3.
Other meal deals leave you craving more?
But wait, there's Marco's.
Marco's Pizza gives you more with our new More menu. More pizza, savory sides, decadent desserts, and more. Starting at just $5 each when you spend $7.99 or more. Try Marco's More menu.
But wait, new breadsticks.
Oh, yeah. Try Marco's More menu.
But wait, new 6-piece wings.
Try
But
Marco's.
wait, new chocolate Cinesquares.
We're gonna need more airtime. Minimum spend required. Use code More menu with $7.99 minimum spend, or code Get More with $8.99 minimum spend. Tiered prices higher at certain locations. Valid on the More menu only. Restrictions apply.
This is Back Your Blue, presented by A Second Chance Bail Bonds, live on Extra 106.3 FM and streaming for free anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Welcome back to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug Cowart. Along with Daniel Madelon, he is the CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds and A Second Chance Monitoring. And our very special guest today, a woman that lights up the room, Jay Alexander. She is the Superior Court and Magistrate Court Clerk, which is tough for me to say, obviously. But we left off in that last segment when you're talking about expectations. Folks want to get promoted, as quickly as they possibly can, and I understand that. I mean, you might not be on day two, but sometimes you have to manage those expectations, coaching the people that work for you into realistic expectations. You don't get to work from home every day. Maybe we can do it on Wednesdays, or whatever the rule is that y'all establish. How in the office of the Clerk of the Superior and Magistrate Courts, Shay, do you manage those expectations?
And so not directly, right? So I have 4 chiefs that report directly to me, and I deal manage. We have 220 employees, right? But from top down, it is when you are doing the recruiting, you have to have real conversations. That's the only way you can manage staff, right? And not, shy away from the difficult conversation. So you have to say, hey, this is a forward-facing customer, right? There's some areas where we're receiving the bond orders and receiving documents that I can afford for the folks to work from home. And if everybody could work from home, it would be good, right? But it's not the reality, because people have to come in the office for the things that they come in, for their notaries and the things that we do. Because state law, we are mandated by law. All the things I do are just by the law. I don't make up and say, I want to do this today, I'm going to do it this way. Everything is governed by the law. So to manage those expectations, one, you have to have the real conversations. That's the first thing. The second thing is morale is, for me, internal, right? So people are like, you need to do things to build morale. Some people are just not made that way. You motivate people. You have to know your people. So I tell my team, hey, get to know the folks, because how I talk to Daniel is not going to motivate the same way I talk to Natasha, right? Daniel might want just all the money. Natasha might
So do I. Where do I sign up for that?
I know, right? Natasha may need just the praise. Money doesn't mean as much to her as
Pat
it
on the
does.
back
So
works.
you have to figure that out, right? And so meet the people where they are. Give them the praise if they need the praise, if they're worthy of the praise, right? And do those things. But for morale, like, I try to keep the staff engaged. Like, we have parties, and I want people to feel I'm so excited when I come to work every day. I'm thinking about the next thing I can do, and I want that for everybody. I know it's not the reality of it, but I want them to feel empowered to have a party. So they bring in things like, it's Taco Tuesday, we're going to have tacos today. I don't care about that.
Count
right?
me in for that. How do I sign up for that?
Right, like it's all fun.
I want to order your office.
I know, right?
Or at least come visit.
We do birthday celebrations once a month for everybody in the office, and then they have their little mini birthday celebrations in their offices. We have the volunteers. When I say we go out in the community, can you imagine just all day, every day, you don't get to work from home and you're just data entry behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Some days they go get to feed the hungry or go pack lunches and go interact with the kids. And so we're providing all of that outlet for them.
I love that, because I think it's so important. And what you said, meet people where they are. And that includes volunteering. The fact that you encourage volunteering is great.
It's the community.
It totally is. It totally is. It's your church. It's which Lord only knows, man. We try to get in there every time the doors is open, because I need it more than anybody. But that's the point. Meeting people where they are and showing people it could be worse. There are worse things. You're in a secure position working for a really good department that will throw a birthday party, that will have a fun event like Taco Tuesday, to use your example. There are people that are not in that situation, and we're working with them. We're trying to help them in some way or other, or we're trying to help Daniel, a business that is adjacent to us,
right,
realize that you're doing pretty good. When I look at it, when I hear it, it sounds pretty good to me.
And that's what we hope, right? Even with the seniors are so important. And the kids. So we go volunteer. The senior facilities are calling me like,
Humane
hey,
Society.
We are, So, and then you find your way for every employee, because every employee doesn't want to go to a senior facility. Everyone doesn't want to go work with the kids. Everyone doesn't want to work with the animals. Everybody don't want to pack food. So there's something for everybody.
I love that. Daniel, and I know that's something that y'all focus on too, just being a part of the community. Y'all do such a great job, and I've seen it up close, and I've been able to see it over the last 18 months that we've been doing this show, how engaged in communities you are. Have y'all been able to be engaged with their staff, like on an event like that? Like, I don't have a great example, but I know so many sheriffs, like Sheriff Taylor, they do the backpack thing. Mm-hmm. Have y'all been able to work with the clerk's office? So
we've done some stuff to help support what they're doing, and that's the thing. If we're serving, if we're doing business in that community, then we need to be putting our time in and available. And that's why I love Shay, right? Her core values align with my core values. So it's a no-brainer. If she calls me on the phone and needs something, it's immediate. It's automatic. There's no question. Because I know who she is.
What would be something that you would reach out to Daniel like in support of?
Well, think about it. So we're in this fancy place where the government employees.
I don't know why they let me
fancy. We're like in this fancy broadcast. Like I might want to do a podcast after this. We'll talk about that later.
You need to.
But we're here.
I mean,
it's corporate. He's corporate. We're government.
Yeah.
I can't. If Shatavia's doing a great job, I can't just be like, oh, Shatavia, I want to give you a raise this month. I don't have the budget for that, right? And so it's the little things that, hey, Daniel, and this is the plug. I want to have a goals stepping into the New Year event in January. I may need some sponsorship to help me get some swag for the party, right? And then I would call and say, hey, is that right? This is really good. And so I would do that, and then possibly he might say yes. Right?
I bet he does.
And so it's those partnerships. It's those partnerships with the Georgia Powers and the Coca-Colas and the
Second Chance.
UPSs and the Second Chances that give us the opportunity to do things for staff that they would normally be able to have access to or to get because of that corporate
sponsorship. Which is great because if they're having a good time, just like the same thing we do with our team, we do the community events and the events for the staff. But when we're all working together, then you're working at 100%, which rarely happens, as we all know. I mean, that's just how it goes. But it works, and it works really well when it's clicking, which is awesome.
Well, I've seen it with the folks that work for you. I've seen that, and I've seen it play out. So I know that people are in a good place when they're working. They show up, they do the things that they need to do, and they go above and beyond because they have that almost encouragement to do so. Right. They've realized, hey, this is a pretty good spot to be. I'm going to work my tail off for a guy that's being good to me. And it sounds like your office is just the same way.
And I am trying, like the culture, I inherited a lot. I've been recruiting, right? But there are people that have been there for a while. And so, the book says it takes 3 to 5 years to change a culture. So day one, I came in the first week and I was like, hey, let me just be very clear about this. The culture shifts today. We're not disrespecting each other. We're not going to do these. Here are the things that we're not going to do. Here, you're putting on notice today. My first week there, and
that's for everybody.
Saw it. It was just across the board.
Yeah, sure.
The entire staff.
Sure.
And then you gradually saw that things were changing, and people were, I had people engaging in volunteer activities that you never saw outside of the office. I'm like, oh my God, you got John to come out. I'm like,
John, we're talking about you, buddy, right now.
So, it's really been rewarding for me as a leader to see the people that really believe in what we're doing.
It seems that you already light up the room. You already make the room right. No, I don't know
Imagine
why.
That.
That's what I've picked up on. I know it's
me.
Yeah, little old me.
Oh, okay.
But talk about that. When you already have a personality like yours that's geared toward positivity and doing things the right way, it still has to be encouraging when you see John, who may not ever volunteer, and then all of a sudden John's there volunteering, and you see him abiding by the unspoken rules of the office or some of the spoken rules of the office, but participating. It has to be rewarding.
It is, and I'm getting kind of teary on a serious because, one, I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I mean, I'm overboard for most people, and they're like, oh, but it's real, right? And so when they realize that I'm not being fake, that's just really who she is, then they start embracing. But what I've decided to do for those that I'm not their cup of tea, I don't try to spend my energy.
Sure.
Oh, please like me. Why don't you like me? And please work for me. That's not it. I put all my energy in the folks that are, and then those folks, it's their responsibility to work on the Johns and the Sarahs of the world that I'm not their cup of tea, to try to convince them, right?
Maybe they
and
connect
then maybe
a little
they'll
easier.
Connect a little easier. But yes, I've seen some employees that I told you I started from the bottom, that I work beside, that supervise me, that have now turned and they're like, oh my God, this is the best place to work, and I feel so empowered, and I feel this way, and it's really, really rewarding for me.
Do you ever have people in other departments come over and be like, how'd you do that?
No, they all say, not how you do it, like, can I come and work for you?
Okay.
Don't tell the sheriff.
I would never say a word.
The sheriff and I, right, but I have,
edit this part out.
as elected officials, friends, and you develop these relationships, I don't go recruit from the other areas. And if one of their employees approached, and they often do, can I come and work for you? I'd be like, you can't work for me. Like, I am too hard for that, right?
But I mean less about, jumping ship somewhere else, but just people that run other departments saying, hey, I want to emulate what you're doing because it's working.
Absolutely, that happens. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it brings me to another point about the clerks across the state, right?
159 of them out here.
159, the largest and the best, right? I know I have 2 colleagues I'm thinking right off the top that if they see this, they're going to be like, why don't you say we're the best too? But
there can only be one best.
We have, when you talk about training and, keeping the employees engaged, I remember back in the day, whatever job I had in the clerk's office,
yes, ma'am,
I was sitting next to Teresa, and Teresa would show me how to process and explain the things to me. And it just aggravated me so much, because how do I know Teresa was doing the right thing, right, as a new employee? And so what we've done, and it's not 100% rolled out, but I have the Clerks University, where we have an avatar, which would be guess who, right? In the avatar, you put the script in, and it gives you all of the instructions on, hi, when this bond order comes in, what do you do with it? Do you look for this? Do you do this? Here's the checklist. And then it teaches you how to process the work.
Keep it simple.
And then you take a test, and it tells you. So the Clerks University will be training folks on how to do the job. And so people they learn different, right?
Sure.
And so there's hands-on.
That's
then
me.
you have that. You can listen to it. You can do it at home. You can do it in the office. And then if you want to move from area to area, because we have so many different areas. That real estate, we didn't even talk about that.
Oh my gosh, right.
Courts,
yeah,
real estate, civil, criminal, magistrate. And so if someone says, oh, I want to leave civil and go to the criminal division, well, you'll go through this class and you go through these courses, and once you're trained, then you pass the test, you can cross-train and move over. So I'm really, really excited about Clerks University.
I can tell.
So as we talk about the clerks across the state, that is the goal. They don't know yet, but we will be the model for training for the state.
You heard it
and
here
so
first.
The new clerks coming in, new clerks training. I was a new clerk because I was elected for the first time. So I'm in new clerks training with clerks that came. I was a beautician. I was a teacher. I was this. And they were like, oh, my God, I don't know what to do. On a smaller scale, because it was the smaller counties. But
sure.
I talked about Clerks University, and they were really interested in just for themselves taking some of the courses. So that's what I'm really, really excited about.
And you put this together?
It was a vision. Right. I came in, and, it's like you have all these different bosses, and you think of all the things. And since I started from the bottom, I thought about all the things. If I'm ever in charge,
here's what
I'm not
going
to sit next to Teresa. I'm going to have a manual, right? A manual that shows me how to do this. And, well, now technology is on another level, so there's no manual. There's a manual, but if I can see it on the screen and take the test, and so it was a vision that I had.
Well, walk me through accomplishing that vision, because it seems like pretty elaborate putting a university together.
It is. So we're talking about where I can go in and look and see what classes Daniel has taken. You go in. So Clerk 101, Clerk 100 might be criminal. And then 101 is all the different things to 120, and it'll tell you bond order, civil document, this, and this, right? And then 200 may be real estate, and then 300 may be treasury, and 400 is whatever other area. And then we have a syllabus, just like in school.
Yeah.
And so that's the first part of it, putting it all together. And now we're uploading the videos and all of the training in it. It is so intense.
That's impressive.
And the reports are coming out. So
that's really impressive. Take me through how long it's taken to go from vision, this is my idea, to we are implementing this now. When you're talking about literally loading up videos and syllabuses and textbooks.
Right. So think about the first part of it, trying to find the technology. So the
For
vision
sure.
was there. So the
Is
finding the
this
technology.
Is this a 5-year thing? Or
No,
is this?
so listen, I've only been, I was sworn in July 2023.
Yep.
Just had my 2-year anniversary
You're getting
Friday.
things done.
Right. Just had my 2-year anniversary on Friday.
I don't mean to sound like the negative Nelly here, but government don't always work that fast.
Right. And so, right. But you can't have a government mentality. Think about it.
Love that.
I love that. I've always been corporate, even in government, working hard. Like, I remember when I was a baby clerk and I used to work 12 hours a day. Me and DA Fonnie Willis, we used to leave the courthouse at 8 o'clock at night, and we'll look at each other and be like, are we government employees? Like, what are we doing? Because we get off at 5. We don't get paid past 5, and it's 8 o'clock at night
what's the incentive?
on a Wednesday night, right? But we believed in what we were doing. And so when you do that, that's what happens. And so I've never had the government mentality. And
I love
try
that.
not to recruit people with it, because it's not, government is just a term,
Yeah.
but we're dealing with people's lives. So it's even more important in corporate as far as I'm concerned, because we impact somebody's life.
How do you experience this, Daniel, with people that are better trained, better attitudes? It just seems like there's a whole lot of things that could go right.
Well, look, that's
for you.
your biggest challenge as small business is your employees, right? That's going to be your biggest problem. But you can eliminate that through systems, processes, and stuff, which is what we've done in the Second Chance. That's one of the final things that we've added to our footprint was the systems and processes to make that more efficient and make sure you're putting the right people in the seats, so you're not putting the wrong person in the seat
So you don't have to micromanage.
who should have never have been there in the first place, and you could have eliminated that if you had the right system in place. So I'm a big believer in all that kind of stuff. So I love that. Hearing about that.
It's
just
genius.
It makes you working smarter, not harder. You know.
It sounds cliche, but it's really true.
But it's true.
There's a reason it's a cliche.
Listen, when you
because it
sit
gets
and
used
waste
so
your
much.
time on something for 8 hours in a day, and then you find out you could have done it in an hour, I'm mad.
Yeah, you'd be
I don't care.
Yeah.
One of my favorite sayings is, and I do this in all my meetings, I'm like, you guys, I'm driving this bus. And my job is to keep looking back, making sure you're in the right seat, because it's
Well, it's
okay.
true.
Yeah.
It's okay if you move. You
And
have
you
to
have to
pivot.
keep- and you
if
have
you
to keep
cannot
driving.
pivot, you're not doing a good job. If you're not able to say, hey, let's take a step back. This really is not going the way. Or instead of just putting your foot down saying, we're going to do it anyway. It's going to work out. It's going to work out. And you know it's never going to work out, right? And so I think the way that we pivot in the office is really good. And so I keep looking back. I don't know. It's okay. And you tell me, the sooner you tell me, the better for both of us.
Sure.
Because one, this job may not be for you because you're not community and people oriented, or you may be good at this and I have you over here. Let's talk about it. And so I like that encouragement. I want them to be able to, as I'm going to come to you and say, this is not working. I need for you to be able to say, hey, guess what, Madam Clerk? I am better fit for this. If I have an opportunity, can I shift over here? Because me sitting behind this desk all day, every day, it's just not working.
It's driving me
for me.
crazy.
Right.
It's not the right fit.
And
But
So
that
we need
Clerks
to figure that
University helps you. It gives
Narrow
her the
that
answer
down.
that she
That's
that she needs. Because I
right.
mean, moving people, it's people like driving, right? Driving to work. I always say burnout's a real thing, and people are like, no, it doesn't matter. They just want the job, and I'm like, no.
Driving.
The first
Driving to work is real.
job I had, one of the real jobs I had in
Especially
Georgia
Atlanta
was I
traffic.
drove 50-something miles each way.
Oh my
And you want to know
goodness.
what? For 2.5 years. But listen, this is the deal. When you do that, it wears you out. So I tell people, at my office, I'm like, put them at the Cobb office. If they live in Cobb, put them in Cobb. Don't put them in Clayton County if they live in Cobb, because in 6 months, you're going to be having a conversation. Why are they so upset? Well, because you got them driving 2.5 hours each way to work.
I
every day.
couldn't.
That'd be awful.
I couldn't
Well,
imagine.
and that's a real thing,
Yeah,
but
it's
you can
real.
eliminate that with your systems and processes,
Which is what Shay's done.
which is what Shay's done, which is awesome.
When you look at it, though, even the applications, that's one of the first things when I do the final interview, because I don't recruit at but
Right.
when I get to the final interview, I'm looking, you live in Kennesaw? So you're good about driving through down? That's not going to work. Let's have this conversation right now. It's not going to work. I don't think it's a
This is
good
not a good
idea.
fit.
Right, it's not a good fit. And we decide. It takes me 3 minutes to get to work. I have road rage every morning.
In 3 minutes?
In 3 minutes.
Really?
I'm like, I'm on the phone saying, how could I have road rage? It's only been 3 minutes. I get to work in 3 minutes, and every morning something happens. I can't imagine traffic.
I can't imagine you having road rage. Not with that smile.
I do.
Not with that smile.
I do. Every
Yeah,
morning.
it's hard to believe.
Because in downtown Atlanta, the one-way streets, and they don't know where to
Shoot.
go, and it's the tags, and they're coming from the hotels.
I get turned around, and I've been there a million times, and I get turned around.
That's my
I
city.
know exactly what you're talking about.
It's my city.
It's my city.
And mine too, and I love it. Always have, but I get confused down there. Which, I mean, I'm a hillbilly from Northwest Georgia, so I get confused easily to begin with. So I get down there, and things,
Where were you born?
Dalton, up in Whitfield County.
In Dalton, Georgia?
Yes, ma'am.
Where the carpet is?
Yes, it's all up there. That's the reason I'm not.
I know about the carpet.
I remember telling my daddy, I said, Dad, I ain't working this carpet mills. And he was like, well, what are you going to do? Not that.
I'm out.
I don't know what it is, but it ain't going to be that.
I'm not going to be that.
That's exactly right. I remember the confusion setting in on his face. He was just like, that's what we all
that's
do.
what everybody
That's
does.
just what we do. That's just what we do. And I was like, yep.
And look at you now.
Well, no, and that's not to frown upon that.
Oh, no, not
it's
at
good
all.
Work. It's good work. It pays good.
Everybody.
It raised me up. I have no ill will toward it. I just didn't want to do it.
Right.
And it kind of like when you're talking about the university that you put together. When you put together Clerks University, you're finding out what people want to do and what they might excel at. I wouldn't have excelled there. And that's the reason I left.
And
to
it's
join the
okay.
Navy. And it's okay. That's
Because
exactly
there's some
right.
people, you need people for everything.
That's
There's
exactly
some
right.
people that are doing the
Are
best.
cut out for it.
Yes.
My daddy
and
was
they
cut
love
out for it. He was.
And he made a good living.
That's exactly right.
They make great money, all of that. And that's what he wanted to do, though.
That's exactly right. Couldn't figure out why in the world I didn't want to, But I also didn't want to change brakes, and he wanted to teach me to change brakes, and I didn't really want to learn that. Now looking back, he was right. I should have learned to change brakes because changing your brakes is expensive, When we come back on Extra 106.3 and Back Your Blue, let's talk about the programs that you work on outside the court, why they're important to you. Maybe focus on a few of them specifically that mean a lot to you. And we'll do that next on Extra 106.3.
Other meal deals leave you craving more.
But wait, there's Marco's.
Marco's Pizza gives you more with our new More menu. More pizza, savory sides, decadent desserts, and more. Starting at just $5 each when you spend $7.99 or more. Try Marco's More menu.
But wait, new breadsticks.
Oh, yeah. Try Marco's More menu.
But wait, new 6-piece wings.
Try
But
Marco's.
wait, new chocolate Cinesquares.
We're gonna need more airtime. Minimum spend required. Use code More menu with $7.99 minimum spend or code Get More with $8.99 minimum spend. Tiered prices higher at certain locations. Valid on the More menu only. Restrictions apply.
Extra 106.3 and a second chance bail bonds are here to back your blue. Now back to the show on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Welcome back. Final segment of Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3 with Daniel Madelon. He is the CEO and president of a Second Chance Bail Bonds and a Second Chance Monitoring. Also, Shay Alexander, clerk of the Superior and Magistrate Courts here in Fulton County. I want to talk about the Fulton Jail project you oversaw and how your office got the County of Excellence Award by reducing judicial case backlogs in Fulton County by 63%. That's a pretty big number.
Okay, so let's back up. This was a Shea project, not a clerk project.
Okay.
So, little backstory.
Yes, ma'am.
I told you I started from the bottom, worked in and out of office. I have worked in and out of Fulton County for a long time. In 2018, I was not a county employee. I started my own consulting company. I left the county in November of 2018 to do something different, right? I didn't know what my next move was. I was the deputy clerk, and I had been doing it for a while, and I just wanted to make a bigger impact across the state. And as soon as I left, you can't get a Fulton County contract for 2 years, the law, blah, blah. So as soon as I leave, there's an emergency. Shay's gone, and I am not making this up. Shay's gone. We can't figure it out. The jail's overcrowded. We need to get her to help
Somebody
us.
call Shay.
And it was bad. I mean,
They said, call Shay. And I was a consultant, a new consultant that didn't really know what it meant. And they were like, well, we need to get you.
We just know you know the answer.
Right. And so they had to go talk to attorneys and the board had to say it's an emergency. So
it's an exception.
And so it was an exception. So I had 2 county contracts, one to help my former boss recruit for my position, and then the county jail overcrowding. And so that part of it was a twofold project. So the county overcrowding analyzed the defendants that were in the jail, who could go out. So the former DA at the time, former players at the table. And so we started having meetings about low crime, the ones that didn't have egregious charges, right?
Sure.
Could they possibly get out on bond? So we're doing consent bonds with the public defender and the DA to get out. And so that project was very successful because we had weekly meetings. The jail population is at this, how we get it down. And so that reduced the jail population. Fast forward, COVID 2020. Everything stopped. Hey, call Shay. We'll figure it out.
Sounds like a ad if I've ever heard one. Hey, call Shay.
Another contract. So the jail project kind of ended and the COVID contract started, right? And we called it Project Orca. Project Orca, hey, Zoom. So then here I am, consultant with the whole team working for me. But the relationships and knowing the jail, knowing what happens in the jail, the processes, knowing what happens in the DA's office, knowing what happens with the judges, I was just like a perfect fit for
Jack
it.
of all trades.
Only because back in the day when I was there, we implemented our case management system that took 15 legacy systems and turned it into one. And so and I became like the project manager. We were doing it in silos. I'm like, no, you guys, we got to get together. Like, we need to know when this goes through flowing. So that's how it happened. Subject matter expert because I was there and I learned and I cared about the people and the processes at the time. So Project Orca came. We had to figure out Zoom rooms and how, hey, judge, you're going to see your defendants on this day, how we're going to get them over. They're going to go to these Zoom rooms. You're going to have it. So we did the schedules for the judges. We would have court. It was huge, right? And so then we started talking about reducing the cases and how would we do that. We set up models and we ended up getting an award. But I was a consultant at the time.
Okay. All right. And Daniel, that, obviously was big for y'all.
Oh, well, really,
chance.
on all sides of it, yeah, but primarily the bonding side, because, the jail was overcrowded. It was packed beyond belief.
Not
because anybody was doing anything wrong.
Yeah,
it's just that was the reality
on the
of what we were dealing with. So having her help in that helped us on the bonding side. So it was welcomed, at the least. That was the minimum, because, it was a pretty crazy time during that time period, yeah.
Shay, before we close, we've got a couple minutes left here. I want you to talk about some of the programs that you've worked on outside the court that are really important to you that you feel like has made a big impact.
Record restriction.
Okay.
So,
well, explain what that is for somebody that's listening and me who don't know what that is.
Expungement. So you were in Dalton with your friends.
My cousin Curtis. This is who I always blame everything on.
So your cousin Curtis got in a fight. You were next to your cousin Curtis, and you both got arrested. But you didn't have anything to do with it. You didn't know Curtis was going to punch him in the face, right?
He's my cousin. I kind of expected it, but I didn't know.
But you didn't know he was going to do it at that particular moment. You both get arrested, right? So you're in front of the judge, and Curtis says, you know what? My cousin had nothing to do with this. It was all me. So the judge says, dismissed. Right? And Curtis, we're going to deal with you. Well, you leave the courtroom and you're fine because you think everything is fine, but that arrest still shows up on your record.
Uh-oh.
You don't know. The arrest is there. The case was dismissed, but every time you tried to go get a job, they're like, oh, he has this
little red flag.
Egg assault. And so you don't know why.
Little red flag.
So the record restriction is to clear up those arrests. The arrests where people were not convicted. They were arrested, found not guilty, case dismissed, and then they go away so that when the next time someone tries to pull your name up, they don't see it.
Got it.
That's why we say record restriction.
I love it.
So that's really important to me.
Yeah.
And another project is the criminal histories. There are oftentimes criminal histories that are out there where the cases have been disposed or closed or dismissed, and it's still showing an open case. Mm-hmm. And so now you can't get housing, you can't get a job, you can't get anything because when they pull it up, they say, oh, he has this pending.
Old
blah,
Tug
blah,
Coward
blah.
is still in trouble.
And so those are two of the things that really, really make an impact and that I'm really passionate about.
Is that overlap with you, Daniel, at all?
Which part?
With the records, getting the record straight.
Not.
It would. Let me tell you how. I'll tell you for him.
Sir,
I'll tell you why.
Now I'm in trouble.
Can we turn Daniel's mic off?
Yeah, let me just tell you why it would impact him.
Yes, ma'am.
Because the judge relies on the information on the criminal history to say whether the person is going to get a bond or not, right? And so if it shows open and it's not accurate, the person may not get a bond. Based on something there. And so then he doesn't have any business because the person doesn't get a bond and they're still in jail, and it will impact his bottom line.
I stand corrected.
Daniel, I told you.
I stand corrected.
I tried to tell you.
Absolutely.
You walked right into it.
Shay's the boss. Shay's always right.
Let me tell you, we're getting ready to wrap up here. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for for working so hard for the folks of Fulton County who are hardworking folks. They go to work every day, try to do things the right way, and then when things go awry and get sideways, you're there to assist them. And we appreciate folks like you. I hope that I hope you know that, and because it's easy to say they just don't do nothing down there. They don't do nothing right down there, and I'm sure you've heard that before. That's why I love the shows, because we're able to tell people that is not true, even though you've heard it all your life. Doesn't necessarily make it true. So thank you, Shay, for what you do. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. And Cousin Curtis is a real person.
He's real.
Curtis, if he ever needs me.
He makes an appearance every so
Tell him
often.
if he needs me to reach out.
Cousin Curtis.
Cousin Curtis.
I'll tell you a real story. We got 2 seconds. I came home from the Navy, and Cousin Curtis met me at my grandma's door. This was around Christmas time. And Cousin Curtis says to me, he says, I got your name tattooed on my arm. I'm so proud of you for serving our country. I got your name tattooed on my arm. I was like, are you crazy? Are you absolutely crazy? And he pulls up his sleeve to show me. And it said, your name, greatest bar joke of all time. My cousin Curtis.
God,
that's my cousin Curtis. That's real. That's real.
It said your name.
Your name. The greatest bar joke of all time. I'll put my hand on the Bible right now if I'm not telling you the truth. That's cousin Curtis. Now you know why I have a cousin Curtis. So anytime things get sideways, it's probably because of him.
Well, I want to close out with this.
Yes, ma'am.
This is, I'm so proud of the team and what we did with our annual report. This just shows all the community events that we did. We empowered the employees, the constituents, the next generation, and it just shows all that we did in 2024, my first full year as clerk, your clerk. And then moving forward, just say Shay's the Clerk of Courts, because all the other stuff is so long.
Okay,
just
sounds good.
Shay, she's the
Clerk of Courts. We have
Fulton
made
County.
the adjustment for Fulton County.
And so I'm going to leave this with you, Daniel, but it just shows the impact. So when you talk about like the volume calls, we had 252,000 phone calls that we assisted with folks last year, right? And so when you look at these numbers, we processed 326,000 real estate documents. And when you look at it from this perspective, it really means a lot.
And how much you get done.
Well, and it tells the story, which is what's important.
Right. So anyway,
Daniel Madelon is the CEO of Second Chance Bail Bonds and a Second Chance Monitoring. Shay Alexander is the Clerk of Courts for Fulton County. My name is Tug Cowart. This is Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3.
This is an Extra 106.3 podcast. To hear more live and local content like this, tune into 106.3 FM or download the Extra 106.3 app.
Other meal deals leave you craving more?
But wait, there's Marco's.
Marco's Pizza gives you more with our new More menu. More pizza, savory sides, decadent desserts, and more. Starting at just $5 each when you spend $7.99 or more. Try Marco's More menu.
But wait, new breadsticks.
Oh, yeah. Try Marco's More menu.
But wait, new 6-piece wings.
Try Marco's.
But wait, new chocolate Cinesquares.
We're gonna need more airtime. Minimum spend required. Use code More menu with $7.99 minimum spend or code Get More with $8.99 minimum spend. Tiered prices higher at certain locations. Valid on the More menu only. Restrictions apply.